right, so today's video, we have a Plat 5 DPS on PC playing Tracer and Torb. They say, hi, I've started practicing Tracer and have had some really tough luck with her. I've gone 2-17 today. Oh, wow. Dropping from Plat 2 to Gold 5. This game was my demotion to Gold, and it felt like I was doing everything pretty well and got some really good 1v1s and some coordination with our Doom, who is my friend. Even with this game having some good moments, it felt like I wasn't playing out of the ordinary. Still losing the game after all we did felt undeserved. I know my pulse bomb accuracy sucks, and my aim is also kind of trash, even though my friend keeps telling me I should be in Masters. Okay. With my mechanics. In my own humble opinion, Gold 1 might be a little high. I hope you can steer me into the correct direction and criticize every mistake I make, as I really want to improve. I hope you have a blast with this interesting run of my most hated map. One note, back to what you said, where you said it feels a little bit undeserved on losing games. One thing I don't know if this will help anybody with like a little bit of that tilt, but I always try to remind myself if I have a really good game and I lose it, I also had a really rough game that I won. And sometimes it just evens out. Now, obviously it's still frustrating, but I always try to remind myself of the game where I went like 12-8 and we still won that game, right? Like that we should not have won. And then the next time I go 40-2 and we lose, I'm like, well, you know, it just kind of evened out with those two games that could have been there. So that's why I always take one game at a time. I go, you know, after that I go, well, yeah. But anyway, I'm not saying that it still isn't frustrating. It's just maybe that can help alleviate some of that frustration level. So you think you should be Gold 1, or you think that's too high? Your friend thinks you should be in Masters. So we'll find out. Great start. Hey, didn't die to the javelin. That's good. Okay. I'm letting this one settle for a second, chat. Before I... Okay, so let's talk about this, chat. This is going to be a difference of philosophy in, like, certain ranks. You should not be here anymore. Like, I feel like, in my opinion, the one thing you really want to do is get through this choke as soon as you can, so that way you can do some setup time behind them. If you're going to play Tracer, getting stuck in this choke for a really long time and playing Tracer like Cassidy or Reaper is not where you want to go yet. You want to pull pressure. So what you want to do is you actually want to get through the side. Then you go down here, you look for health packs, you set up over here, and now you're in a really good spot to help your team. But when you get stuck here in the choke, you're just going to be stuck here. So go all the way back here. Play in the corner here and try to try to pressure them out and then see if you can force them back. If you even get one of them to look over here, it's already a victory. And that's what you want to do as Tracer. If you get stuck here the whole time, this is where it can get a little bit off. So something to look at. There you go. You made it through. I'd say about 45 seconds past. I mean, probably 30 seconds past when you should, but there you go. Now, ideally, you would get out of there sooner and get the other mini across the way, or try something different, but hey, that was a good play. Good job. Health pack awareness is key. Like you have a health pack right there, right? They're not going for you. Remember, one thing I want to point out to you, by the way, sometimes they're going to react to you a little bit sooner than that. So you like for example, when you had the dynamite on you, like you could have gotten out. Now, I think most people know this, but I'll just let people know. If you have an Ash dynamite on you and you go to a health pack, it cleanses it off of you. So remember, any of that Ash Dynamite, Mauga, lights you up there, Onron, all that. Like, if you just go to a health pack, it cleanses the Dynamite or that off of you. And keep in mind, also, every single time that's ticking on you, it also keeps reapplying the passive, like the heal passive on you that you heal less for. Then, if I'm correct, can anybody help me on this one? There is a sub-roll passive right now for DPS where you can see through walls at a certain point of lower HP. Is this correct? So I don't know who has the recon passive, but I forgot which heroes have the recon passive, but the example I'm making here is that in the game now, if you get to a certain low HP and you're playing Tracer just standing still there AFK, there's a chance that somebody with that passive could kill you. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that the Tracer has the recon passive. I'm saying that, let's say another DPS in the lobby has it, they would be able to see you, and if you just stand there AFK. Granted, I don't think any of the heroes on the other team have it right now, but the point I'm making is that if they do, that could be a problem, right? I'm not saying anybody has it in the lobby. I'm just letting people know that there is a passive with certain heroes. Maybe we can have it linked up on the chat in the video just to show that when you're below a certain HP threshold, they can see you. And then that could also be a problem with just standing there waiting for like a health pack to spawn up. You know your health packs and all of that. So anyway, they need to deal damage to low HP for seeing, which is still fine, because if an Echo randomly throws a right click out, if Echo has it, for example, and it does 1 damage to you, that would still be there, right? You see what I'm saying? How this could still be a problem? The point I'm trying to get at, don't be as static in your Tracer gameplay. I've always kind of had this thing with like recall where I don't know when to use it. And recently I've started to pay attention a little bit more in like OWCS games to how they're kind of utilizing it. And truthfully, a lot of the time they use their recall a little bit more frequently than you would expect, because they know that they'll fall over if they just sit there and wait a while. Anyway, we're there for too long on that topic, so we move on. Here we go. Yep. Good job going behind them. Good killing the Ashe. So yeah, not too bad to start. I'm ready. Okay, you going for high ground control? I mean, this is fine thus far. Although, I guess this is fine. You're just trying to set up. I could be okay with this. You're just trying to set up and wait. I'm okay with this.
The payload is advancing.
Yeah, I mean, I miss my pulse bomb sometimes. Yep. Okay, something that I've also had to learn recently on Tracer: do not be afraid to back out of a failed play. You know, listen, I know the ego sometimes wants to finish the kill. On a map like Eichenwald 2, where setup time can be a little bit tough, I would rather you just reset, go again after that, rather than like try to force a play, try to run around and make this play, make that play. I think like, you know, your pulse bomb missed, your recall didn't quite give you a kill, and you ran out of cooldowns. You had 1 blink left. You know, you can blink out over here, wait, you know, drop down, get a health pack, you know, rotate around. But, like, don't give up your map control to, like, try to take an ego duel right there, right? You missed the pulse bomb. It happens. We've all been there. You know, I miss pulse bombs all the time. Obviously, you can work on that, maybe get a little bit closer. But, like, the point I'm making is, you know, just reset. You can go back and get that kill after. Really good Tracers prioritize survivability over that 1 clip, and that is really what can make a really good Tracer. 1 clips are great. Winning a duel is awesome, but you need to survive a lot to be able to kind of consistently have that uptime to be able to do what you see really good Tracers do. Thank you for the 7 months. Very, very much like a survivability hero. Here we go. Yep, okay, back up on high. Now look for your spot. What are you looking for? Okay. Recall up. There you go. Good job. You recalled back up. That's keeping positioning. Karma's right there. Remember, the health pack's behind you. No health pack is hacked. There you go. Look for the targets now. You can go for the Ashe if you'd like. The Ashe is still there. I hate to break it to you, but the Ashe was still there. Honda, thanks for the 4 months of the Prime sub. Appreciate it. Thank you. There's the Ashe. There you go. Got the kill. Again, it's not like, you know, it may not feel super clean to you, but what you're doing is good. You're running around. You're staying alive. You're getting the kills when they're there. I would like to see a little bit more activity in their backline. I think this is a good opportunity for that. There you go. See, I like that you backed away. See, you don't need to get the kill. Now remember, yep, there you go. I was going to say, there's an internal timing you should have after you kill someone that they're going to be going for you. Good job. Nice. There you go. That was good. That was very clean. Well played. Okay, I would... Usually you want to pulse bomb them when they're still alive there, because when you do that, it can stick them. Obviously, you wanted me to criticize every play you said. Yeah, no, I mean, I've done that to you. We just want to get the pulse bomb kill. You don't need to push in there because you want to win on the retake. Help with your team. Good cleanup. point. Still needs help? All right, you got it. Cool. So, what would I do in this situation? I would try to clean up these kills and then try to set up behind them if I have time. If not, you can go in the right hallway, like the right side over here, and kind of maintain that angle. So if they push past the middle part, yep, this is the right way. Yes. Or you can go back left right now. Remember, like, just to like point out to people, like if you go through this left hallway, there's a whole way back here. You have a health pack right here. You have a health pack right here. And you can also go over this. See? You have this whole area to be able to go back here and get kills. So don't be afraid to take that route and that path. If you can't get there, you can also go here. I know this one's like the worst of the spots, but just remember that. Like your overall goal is to get behind them. Because if you don't, you're going to be just playing Cassidy as Tracer. Yep. I think you're telling your Doom to go over there, or you want to go that way or something. See what I mean? Like you made a goal to get over here. You even pinged it. But then like you went like the worst pathing you could do to get there. That's why I want you to just understand the maps a little bit more sometimes too, and how that can be super helpful to understand in those situations. I think that would be really key. So yeah, that would be really, really key. All right, hello from Japan. Hello, how's it going? It's almost time for the major. I'm excited. Yep. You have the right idea. I think the way that you path is a part of your problem. It's like you just path incorrectly. This is still a winnable team fight. Do you want to be more involved? Yeah, you're playing scared. Like, this is why I want you to go the other way. I want you to make them turn around. When you make them turn around, like, here's the best way to explain it. If you're playing a dive comp correctly, you have, like, you know, your friend you're playing with, your Doom is going to be one way, and you're going to be the other way. And what's going to happen is they can't make a decision on who to go for, so they either have to commit to one of them, or they spin in circles. So when you sit there in front of them the whole time and you're not putting any pressure on them, even in that, like, tight corridor, that is where you're going to struggle to get some value here, right? Like, right now, look at, like, you're just struggling to... Like right there, you finally decide to path that way, but you're not blinking your way there. You're trying to get there. Like, use your blink. Make them see you. Make them think about you going that way, right? But yeah, so far, that's been a major problem for you, is you don't path, like, the correct way, or you don't end up in the backline as much as you could, and you rely on your team to make a few plays, which is, you know, is it like, you know, 2-17? Yeah, maybe you got a little bit of an unlucky streak, but yeah. We'll see. Are you backing away? Okay.
Anyone care about moving the payload?
Uh-huh. Yep. I know you're waiting on the team, so I'm giving you a little bit of a... There you go. You made it through. Okay, good job. You blinked this time. So you made your adjustment. Now they're looking at you. See? Now they're looking at you. Recall. The moment, like, what I'm doing in that situation, by the way, is more than likely spamming my recall, because I think they're going to push you anyway, and you can get closer to them for a pulse bomb. Again, it's all play style preference there, but they're going to chase you, and you have that hinder on you, so you're going to spam it. Now, granted, they could kill you, because the hinder kind of stops you from being able to use that, but the timing's pretty forgiving, so you should be able to kind of, like, recall back, and then see what happens next. Okay. You hear him right there. There's a javelin. Okay, you're going the right way now. This is good.
Winners stay on the payload.
Good pulse. Even though that missed, it was actually solid. Like, you could see that was going to hit. Good job. Kiriko would be the target next for me, by the way, if you were wondering on who I would target focus. Kiriko, there you go. Because that's who's going to keep that Orisa alive, which can be the make or break between one gold cooldown. And I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but sometimes that one singular gold, the shift by Orisa, can make or break a team fight, so you want to be able to take out the Kiriko, because otherwise there's a chance the Kiriko can keep him alive. So, not a bad half out of you, but it was like an okay half. It felt like sometimes you spectate and kind of wait on your team to make that next step, and that's kind of where you run into some issues. So I want to see that improved and fixed as much as you can, because I think that will help solve a lot of problems. All right, you're set up behind them. I can accept this. I like this. You hear the Widow. Trying to go for a melee. Blink melee, that is. You'll be fine. You'll get... Okay, yep. You got to work on not getting lost as much. Usually that's just making sure you kind of know where your blink is going to go. I think in like angle and like moving your mouse as you do it, I wish I could explain it better, but like right there, you just kind of outplayed yourself a little bit. And then you know, your team got rolled main though. Like you still kind of did what you're supposed to. You killed the Widow. It wasn't clean. And you know that, but it wasn't like bad either. Like, I mean, your team just lost the choke outside of that. Okay, you're looking for some map control here. I can see this. Still looking. This is good. Yes. I don't mind this. Nice shot. Now you have to make a decision. Yep, escape out. Escape out, go up. You're good. Good job. Again, you don't have to take the ego duel. You just need to survive that. Go for the Pharah. Nice job. Good aim there. That's solid. You have moments where your aim hits, but I think like... And I think this is going to come with time and practice, but I think the number one problem you run into, at least from everything that I've seen when it comes to like when you get lost, it feels like your crosshair is never in the right spot. So you end up like not being in the right spot, but then you start shooting first. So when you start shooting first, it causes a problem where your aim is already off. And then by the time you actually have your aim, you're into reload moments. So take that extra 1/10 of a second, you know, maybe slightly longer to kind of like be ready to hit the shots rather than just like start blasting. It feels like you are Danny DeVito in it a little bit. And like, I think if you can slow down like your approach to when you start your shots, I think it will get a lot better, believe it or not. So you said your problem with playing flankers most of the time is the timing of when to go for a flank and coordination with the team. You're getting good attention, but your team isn't always using the value you're providing. So you're wondering how to be more sufficient and not to rely on attention as much. Well, the thing is, and I can add to this to the video, is like that if they're looking at you, then you're already doing the right play. And you go, well, if my teammates aren't following up on that, what can I do to help with that? Survive. That's the best you can do. So that's why the good tracers, when they don't have the perfect scenario, which, by the way, in pro play, that perfect scenario doesn't even happen a crap ton for a tracer. But what the tracer does is the tracer always survives that. So if you're in the backline as the flanker or, you know, one of the heroes, as long as you survive and the threat of you getting a kill is there, you're already pulling pressure there. But that is what I mean is like, sometimes you just don't want to force the kills. Sometimes you got to like just play it safe and recognize that you need that time. And if your teammates, you know, get mad that like you're not being as involved in the team fight, it goes kind of both ways. Like your teammates also need to be more involved in the front line to be able to help with that pressure to kind of have this push and pull gameplay. Again, it's a team game. So, but yeah, staying alive and surviving that would be the best bet. Pulse bombs, you're just kind of launching them a lot of the time. You can always go into like a practice range and like kind of see how the projectile works. It feels like right now you're going for like the lob ones. Remember, if you do the lob ones, you have to kind of predict where the projectile goes, which some people are good at. Not me. I'm more of like the straight up like kind of, actually I'm okay with like the lob one, but I need to predict where they're going to go more than have it be when they're standing still. So, yep, you're doing the right plays. Good pressure. Just had a bad defense. Go to the point. Yep. Play to live as long as you can. You and your Doom are doing your best. Nice kill on the Moira. I honestly, Chad, I think that's okay. I think I would have gotten rolled there too. Because, like, I'm assuming, I guess your friend could have stayed there, but I don't trust that my teammates are staying on the cart there. I mean, I've seen enough. We've already won the team fight. I'll take the death there just to make sure that we, you know, don't lose that. This is BC. You know? And how's it fun? Yep. I saw what you said about shooting Orisa's shield. I think it's actually not bad to do if your teammates can follow up right away. Because they get forces out Orisa's cooldowns quicker. Good job. Good job helping. There you go. You're playing this correctly. This is good. See, your aim is good when you settle. Okay, we got to stop trying to pulse bomb people with 5 HP. Your ammo will be good enough. Like your aim will be good enough. Okay, your aim will be good enough. All right, let's go. I have no preference on 66 versus 5v5. Okay, going in. Good job. Backline pressure is looking good. Backline pressure's looking good. I like what I'm seeing. Yes, this is good. Yes. That you need to work on your movement. And it's not even like necessarily that you don't know how to like blink around them. It's that you get lost too much. I want you to start to, you can go into the training range and there's going to be bots on the right-hand side. I want you to blink around in that area where the bots are. And I want you to always find yourself aiming at the bot no matter where you blink. When you start to do that, you won't lose people as much and your aim and everything else gets much better because you're not spending time trying to like resettle your aim. Really good tracers are good at that. Where like, no matter where they blink, how they angle, where they blink to, they're always like looking at the character they want to shoot at. So I want you to like practice some of those blinks. I think if you do that, you're going to see a lot of value. I think right now your blinks, you kind of like spend an extra one when you don't need to. And I think once you learn all of that, your cooldown management will get better and you'll pop off even more. So, yep. Apply to Sombra with like what, backline pressure? Essentially, yes. Yes, exactly. Yep. That's fine. Technically, I understand what you're doing. I'm okay with that. Basically, you're deciding that you don't want to end up being in their spawn behind. Now, Tracer's one of the few heroes where you could have stayed there if you wanted to. As in, like, you just set up for a push. But, like, I think you're in this spot right now where you've done that and your team's losing. So you're making a decision to come back and help this way. I'm okay with it. Some Tracers would have survived there. That's going to be up to you and your playstyle. If that was a Cassidy, you know, soldier, any hero like that, you pretty much go off the map, yeah. Because then they can't chase you around. Or they can chase you around. Good kill, good job, nice play. Looking around the map.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
Good job. This is correct. This is good Tracer gameplay. There's a health pack to your right, by the way. Yeah. Got it. Like, you're pulling pressure away. You have them looking at you. Your teammates are over there battling, but you're doing a good job. Nice job. Good usage of map control. There you go. Of course, that's the pulse bomb you hit. Finally hit a pulse bomb. Notice how you were closer to them, though? And I've been saying that you're trying to lob them. Trust your close-range pulse bombs. Break the bubble. Good map control. Good job.
No one can hide from my sight.
No, I get that. Heck yeah. That works for me. Yeah, I mean, you're doing fine. Again, like, sometimes your teammates just die there during the pre-fight, and the best thing you can do is just stay alive again. You know, play to live. You know, sit on the outside of the map if you need to. You know, you're good. You're good. Yeah, you're fine for now. Yes, this is technically correct. Keep putting the pressure here. Sorry, Ted. There's been a lot of downtime here, so I haven't been able to say as much. This is correct, though. You're now you have to go to point. Now you go to point. Now you got to be the one to point. Now, keep in mind, in this situation, sometimes it's like, look for the right opportunity. Don't, like, give away where you're at yet. Because, like, you want to get a kill, but you want to kind of wait for the low HP target while also kind of being sneaky on the point. But this also just goes down to your teammates kind of got rolled anyway on that. Like, you're not doing anything wrong right there. At the same time, you've lost a lot of team fights like this, so what I think you could do, if this helps solve some problems for you, is I would like to see you be a little bit more aggro. And what I mean by that is, like, if your teammates keep losing this major team fight, then be more aggressive to try to put more pressure off of them. And then this is where having good movement would help you a lot. Yes, so their friend is technically the Doomfist. Their Doomfist isn't diving as much, but this goes back to something I've talked about. I've been in games where the comp is like Reinhardt as your tank, and the Tracer is still popping off in the backline. Do you get what I'm saying? So, like, if the overall goal here is to eventually be a really good Tracer player, you can still make those plays even when you don't have that dive target. So I think you want to be more aggressive in those situations. Now, of course, this goes with your movement being better. So I think your rough movement at times kind of gets you in these weird spots. So I think that practicing that combo together with being a little bit more hyper aggro on them to pull pressure away from your team will help in those situations and maybe even give, you know, your Doom more incentive to want to push in. I know against an Orisa and like that kind of like standstill comp, it can be tough, but like you definitely need to be in there a little bit more. So yep, that's how Tracer is. That's why it's, you know, I think a lot of the time when the question gets asked about like how, you know, what hero is like super fun to watch no matter what, I think Tracer is one of them because she's a hero that's been dominant for about to be 10 years, but she's dominant if you're good at her. Does that make sense? As in, like, there's definitely like that. A good Tracer is very apparent. Me on Tracer not having as good of a Tracer game is very apparent too. You know what I mean? So, yep. Good job tapping the point. Now you want to play for survivability for a second here. If you can, you know, get to the health pack next, maybe, you know. But either way, there it is. I still think you should get behind them quicker previously too, but yeah. What is the rank? This was in, like, this was their demotion game to gold, and they went 2-17 on Tracer. And like, if you look, like, the score, the kills, etc., you're not doing bad. But I also want to point out that sometimes on DPS, and this is one of the reasons why DPS is my worst role, because I kind of, one thing to kind of point out here with what was I saying? Tracer, yes. Tracer is like, you can have what you consider a really good game, or like you can be like, oh, I'm doing a lot. But like when we watch that back, how often were you just there not doing anything? And I think like, you know, with Tracer, you're also a high uptime character. So this goes back to what I'm saying. Once you get better movement, I think you're going to be more confident in your ability to go into their backline. And as everything gets better that way, you're going to improve. Your aim is fine, right? Like I think your aim, the only problem with your aim is that when you get lost, you start shooting before you even like get to your target. And that's a problem because you end up wasting some early ammo and some early, like, you're like kind of giving away where you're at early, right? Once you hear a Tracer start shooting, you know the Tracer's nearby. So, like, you need to think about being on your target before you start blasting, and that's usually what gets you killed. It's not about your aim when you're settled on a target. It ends up being more about, like, you start shooting before you even get to your target, and that causes a problem. And then they already see you, they chip damage you, and you're already kind of in a weird spot. So let's finish up here. You're in the Eichenwald spot. Absolute excellent spot. A little bit of a trick here. Don't start shooting early because you've given away your Eichenwald spot. Ready? Start blasting now. There you go. Now you're good. Yeah, this is what it's all about right here. Yep, maybe aiming a little bit higher than you think you are. Aim lower. There you go. All right, there you go. There we go. That's what I'm talking about right here. This is what it's all about. See? You know, when all else fails, go to the Eichenwald spot. There you go. Nice play. A little bit lower. It's going to hit the Orisa, but not on other targets. A little bit lower. You're not going up against Sigma on every single hero there. Just slightly lower. I know it drops down over like the range, but I've got more results. Yeah, when you crouch, I think that's more ideally what I like, because you're you can see it. You're just above where the other hitboxes are. Yep. Trust me, I'm an expert at this spot by now. You gotta just get out, rotate the safe way. Good job. You did rotate the correct way there, by the way. Nice play. I mean, in theory, your team should win this, but something's gonna happen here, I feel like. You said you... Yep. Pop your shift, pop your shift, pop your... Cooldown usage. And there it is. You lost the team fight. I would have actually went more towards the point at that point to not give them an isolated 1v1. Obviously, they just went in and popped a bunch of ultimates, so there you go, chat. They do end up losing the game. But yeah, like, you said you lost a lot on Tracer. I mean, like, I still think you do have a lot to work on with your mechanics. But I think right now, I really want to see you work on your ability to blink around the map. I think that's going to be your #1 problem, is you're struggling with your movement. And when you struggle with your movement, it's easier to do damage to you. So I really want you to go into the training range, practice that movement on the right side bots that I talked about. Pulse bombs, I want you to be a bit more closer and accurate. You can kind of combo that practice with your movement in like the training range or in like some other, you know, quick play, whatever. I want you to combine with being a little bit closer to them. And I also want you to think about being more active in team fights and knowing when to disengage. I know there's a lot there to pick up on, but if you can pick up on even half of those, you're going to climb right back up to where your initial rank was. Right now, you're taking yourself out of team fights. You're playing okay, but you're not playing great, and a lot of Tracer gameplay requires you to play great. Otherwise, it relies on your teammates to do everything. Yes, your Doom wasn't diving with you at all times, and obviously, the Doom is your friend, but you don't need that. Like, sometimes the best Tracers will just take out the backline without any help. You get better at that area, then you're going to have a good time on Tracer. But that's where you got to focus your practice on. I think if you do that, you're going to see a climb. Get that movement better, and the rest will kind of like go there. Also, just one last note, enough of the Danny DeVito style. You just start blasting. I want you to be more precise with your target, like your target focus. It's not your aim I'm talking about. It's that you start shooting way sooner and you just end up missing a bunch of shots because you're not on the target yet. So do that, improve in that area, and I'm telling you, you'll see a steady climb, all right? You got this. You absolutely got this. If you like the video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube if you haven't, leave a comment, all that helps. You want to submit your own spectating or anything else, my Discord is where to do that. And if you want to watch another spectating to learn how to improve or just, see some fun gameplay, click the box over here. I think it's down over here. I think it's somewhere there. Either way, watch the video. It's going to be a good one. With that being said, hope you all have an amazing day/night.